Hey everybody, happy Monday. Tonight we're talking about formal and informal letter and email writing. Let's get started. Formal and informal letters and email. What we'll study today: formal letter writing, informal letter writing, formal and informal emails, and vocabulary associated with writing letters and emails. To begin with, we write the address. In a formal letter, you should write your address and contact information in the top right-hand corner, here. This is known as the return address. Your address is the return address. Write the address of the person you're writing to on the left, starting below your address. That address is here. This is known as the recipient. This address is the recipient. An address is always by this formula. We have the block and street name, a unit number if there is one, a town or city, and the postal code. They look like this: 123 ABC Street, number 100, in Kansas City, Missouri, 64068. Here we have the block and street name, the unit number, the town or city, and then the postal code. In a formal letter, you should place the dates a line after and below the return address. So here we have the return address. Here is a line below and after. And here is the date. Depending on the style of a letter, it can also be placed a line after and below the recipient's address. Sometimes the date can be placed from here down to here. In a formal letter, you should use "Dear Sir" or "Madam" if you do not know the name of the person you are writing to. It is polite to try to find out their name before. So here would be "Dear Sir" or "Madam." If you do know, you can say "Dear Mr., Mrs., Ms. Smith." We use the title, Mr., Mrs., Miss, Doctor, and the surname only. If you are writing to a woman and do not know if she uses Mrs. if she's married, or Miss if she's single, you can use Ms., which is for married and single women. Here is the greeting or salutation. Next, we have the body of the letter, or the content, which is located here. We start with an introduction, which is a short introduction that states the purpose of the letter. If you need to ask, request, complain, or whatever else. The body is usually 2 to 4 paragraphs with relevant information. Keep to the essential info and organize what you have to say clearly. At the second paragraph, you need to state, why are you writing? I have experience, a diploma, an interest in, say, horse riding, if they have a stable for you to go ride a horse at. I'm writing to ask, when will you come into town? Could you send me details or information on the zoo? Why are you writing the letter? Finally, we have the conclusion, which is the final paragraph. Here you suggest what actions to take, or closing remarks and promises. If somebody asks you to do something, I can do that for you. Thank you for your feedback. If it's possible, We should move the meeting to next week. All these kinds of things are what you would state in the conclusion. You can end a letter in many ways. This starts here. Sincerely, regards, yours truly, and yours sincerely are the simplest and most useful letter closings to use in a formal letter. Best regards, cordially, yours respectfully. These are used when making letter closings more personal in a formal setting. Finally, your signature, which is down here, a line below and beneath the letter closing. Here's a sample format for formal letters. To begin with, we see your contact information, followed by the date, followed by the contact information of the person or company you are writing to, the greeting or salutation, the body of the letter, the closing, and the signature. So we have John Doe at 35 Chestnut Street. Here's his telephone number and his email address. The date is May 15th, 2019. He's writing to Caesar Julius, who is a manager of the Crystal Lake Company at 53 Oak Avenue, Street 5, in Dell Village, Wisconsin, 54101. He writes, Dear Mr. Julius, I'm writing to resign my position as customer service representative, effective August 15th, 2018. I've recently decided to go back to school, and my program starts in early September. I'm tendering my resignation now so that I can be as helpful as possible to you during the transition. I'm particularly grateful for your guidance while I was considering furthering my education. Your support has meant so much to me. Thanks, and best wishes, John Doe. Here we can see he used a formal letter setting, but he was a little more personal towards the end by saying thanks and best wishes, because he was very happy with his position here. A formal letter versus informal letter. Informal. Informal is far more casual. You have a personal relationship with this person, and all information is usually aligned to the left. We say things like, hey y'all, or hi, how are you? Next, I'll show you a template of both formal and informal letters so we can review at the end. Here is a nice template for the formal letter writing. The top right we have the writer's address. Below that is the date. To the left and below is the recipient's name and address, name, street, town, postcode, followed by the name or polite greeting, Dear Sir or Madam. After this is the subject of the letter, or introduction, followed by the opening paragraph with the main point of the letter. Finally, we have the final paragraph, or conclusion of the letter. After this formal ending, use yours sincerely if the recipient's name is known. Finally, we have the signature and the writer's name. With an informal letter, this is the template you should use. We have our address, the date, and informal greeting, like, hey Joe, how are you doing? The opening paragraph with a polite introduction, how are you? I am fine. You follow this in the next paragraph with a new topic. And in the final paragraph, I hope to hear from you soon, or warm regards. followed by the appropriate ending, love, regards, sincerely, yours truly, and then your name or signature, which is Bob. Email and SMS. In emails, it is not necessary to write addresses as they are automatically saved in the email. Depending on whether it is formal or informal, changes the style to follow the same format as a letter would. For SMS, or text messages, are used to shortly and quickly ask for information, give information, and create and confirm plans. It usually ends with, "Have a great day" or evening, or "Goodbye" and "Good night." SMS or text messages are usually a little more informal and personal. This is an invitation to a party using an informal email format. You are invited. Hey Jonathan, I wanted to ask if you would join us for my 40th birthday party. It has been a long time since we've seen each other, and I'd love to have you there. The party starts at 7 p.m. on Friday at the disco. We're all wearing disco clothes, so let me know if you need to borrow some. If you'd like to confirm or come, please email me back to confirm. Missing you, Clarissa. So here we see the intro with the necessary information, and here she gives him what he needs to wear and what time it is. And in the closing, she says "missing you," which can tell you that it's very personal, as opposed to a formal letter. Alright, I know that was a lot to take in, but now we're going to do some practice with the homework. Let me show you. For homework, I want you to tell me what part of the letter is this. Starting with, number 1, what part of the letter is this? Dear Mr. Hatwell. What would you call it? Number 2, what part of the letter is this? 24 Smith Road, Sunderland. Number 3, yours sincerely. What part of the letter is this? And number 4, this. I am writing to request information about kites. What is this? Next, I want you to write an email. Use the informal style to email me about inviting me to a party. So like we saw here, I would like you to do your own version and invite me to a party through an email. Thank you for your attention and have a great night.